new house, new kitchen, new coffee beans, new batteries for the scales. Let's do this. Welcome back to the new and updated Mediocre coffee tutorial for the V60. This may or may not actually be mediocre because this time I'm going to follow the recipe as prescribed / recommended by the barn in Berlin, and I am going to weigh everything. So fingers crossed for a tasty cup. You will need V60 filter paper, some sort of pouring implement, some coffee beans, some scales. My beautiful glass carafe thing did not survive the move. I'm not one to name names, but beloved housemate Chrissy dropped it and broke it. She's lucky that I love her so much that this has not ruined our friendship. But also luckily enough, I'm home alone, so my single cup is going to do the trick. Let's get started. Batteries. Let's fix this thing. Long overdue. So, how's things? Oh my gosh. As I try to get this out, I'll explain. Today we're using coffee from the Roasting Shed. This is called Liquid Amber. It is from San Marcos in Honduras. Notes of hazelnut, caramel, and dark chocolate. Now, I know fruity coffee, especially for pour-overs, is all the trend right now. But there's just something to be said about a light to medium roast with some nice rounded, nutty, chocolatey, caramelly notes. You know me, always outside of the trends. Okay, is this... Yay! It no longer has a low warning signal. Perfect. Okay, so now we all remember how boring it is to grind the coffee. So I've already done that. I've pre-done it. You're welcome. Now, for this recipe, we want 16 grams. So let's tear this. Okay. $17. Don't want to go over. This 16. Now you want your water to be like at not quite 100 degrees, so you can either stop the boil early, measure it if you have something like you have a thermometer or whatever, or just leave it for a couple of minutes after it's boiled if you're using some basic kettle like this. Now, as you may remember, or if you're new to this, if you haven't seen the first mediocre one, which probably you don't really need to. I'll link it down below, but this one's probably all you need. So we've got our paper in here. We're going to use a little bit of hot water to set this against it. And it's also going to get rid of any of the paper residue taste and warm everything up. So your cup is getting some hot water in it, or if you're putting it into a jug or something like that for more than one person, in which case you probably want to double up the recipe, and this may not be, oh, it's filled. This may not be the right quantity for you. First hiccup. Overflow of boiling water. Try not to burn yourself. Be safe. How much water do they recommend? Okay, so they do it a little bit differently, but that's okay. That's okay. We're all learning today. So now we're going to put our coffee grinds in here. Make sure they're kind of nice and even. With the barn method, they are going to put the whole thing on here and tear it. Make sure you've taken out that hot water if you haven't already. Otherwise your cup will overflow it and your coffee will be pretty crap. Oh my gosh, now the website's glitching. It's like it doesn't want me to do this. Okay, Now we're ready for the first pour. What? How much water do I put in here? Oh, 250 mils. Now, this particular recipe recommends 94 degrees as well. So as I was saying, if you have a way of measuring that, you can measure it. If you're kind of doing a bit more DIY and mediocre like myself here, you just want to keep it a little while after it's boiled. Okay, so 250 in here. V60. Oops, yeah, spilled some. $233. $250. Success. Okay, now we're going to stir it so all of this is on here and it's 0. Okay, so for this you also need a timer, so we're going to do this as well. First, we're going to wet everything with about 30 to 40 grams of water. So you basically just want to cover it all. And that's the point where it's going to start to bloom, so you'll notice like the gases are coming out and like some bubbles basically. And then we're going to wait for 30 seconds. Now, this one doesn't mention any agitation, but I found this guy, so I'm not going to not use it. So you're just going to gently agitate it and let it be. So at the 30-second mark, pour your brew to 100 grams of water. Okay, so I'm at 43 here, so I'm going to pour until it is 143. This is a tutorial for myself actually. I have no idea what I'm doing. Usually I measure everything here, but I don't measure as I go. So I would say this is a little bit more advanced because there's a lot more things to monitor, but I guess practice makes perfect. Now we're going to wait until basically this is, like we can see all the coffee grounds again. So this is what's going on at the moment. As you can see, we've got scales here, some spilled water because that's me. And we're just going to wait until this is kind of doesn't have that pool of water at the top anymore. Remember, when we're pouring, we're going to try and keep it as steady as possible. You want the flow to be a steady stream. Lots coming up the sides. I may be doing this wrong. If you know more about this than me, please feel free to tell me in the comments. Let's all learn together. Now we're up to the third pour, so we're going to keep on pouring the rest of this water. Oops, I've already fucked it up. You want to try and keep it going through the water. You don't want it to be just like putting it all on a pile on the top. So I'm doing it wrong, but you know. We're going to have flavored caffeinated water at the end, and that's all really you can ask for on a Sunday afternoon. Okay, that's all the water here. Currently past 3 minutes. I feel like maybe we've taken a bit too long at this. Who knows? Welcome to the kitchen. Yeah. It's almost done. So finally this is complete. Oh, that smells good. That smells good. Now I'm sure this is actually too soon to be testing it. I'm definitely gonna burn my mouth, but I don't think we want to wait anymore, do we? Yeah, that will do very nicely. Also with V60, the more that it cools down, you don't want it to get cold, but the more that it does cool down, the more you will get the flavor out of it. So that's always good to keep in mind if you're just like making it or tasting it or buying it, you know, all that jazz. It's really a flavor journey. So I I do have some other coffee methods available. We can make this a series. Please like this video if you want to go on this beautiful coffee adventure with me. I've got an AeroPress. We can do stuff with that. At the end of the day, I'm never going to stop drinking coffee. So